So we would be using Logic, but we're going to have a little look at GarageBand, and it's going to be a very quick tour to show you a little bit about GarageBand and the main page and some of the functions you will be using. So if I click on GarageBand, it takes me to this page here. We always click Create Song. We're starting a new song. And as you'll see, if you don't know already, there's lots of different instruments that you can choose from to start your track. I always kind of go in by default to keyboard, but you can start with anything that you want. But that is appropriate to what you're going to be working on. So if I click on Smart Piano, okay, it comes up with a Smart Piano which helps me play some chords. Okay, now if I click this red grid here that looks like an old phone box, I then get a keyboard set up like I normally would have on in school. I can change the size of the keyboard, how many keyboards I have, okay, depending on what I want. I can make them really have lots and lots of different notes in there, so I can have an array of octaves. Okay, that's lots of piano. It's almost like a piano stacked on a piano. Or I can have it as one layer and quite small. Okay, so it's up to you. Now you've got to click this top button at the top here, which on the top left, which looks like a few lines. That then takes you what's called as Tracks View. Now, if you're concerned and you're thinking, oh gosh, I don't know what anything is, don't worry. If you click on the top right-hand side with this question mark, it tells you lots of different things about some of the areas. So we're now in the sort of main project area, and this is what you'd call this track headers that I'm going to swipe open now. This is where all the instruments are kept, so you can see the levels of the instruments. You can mute them. You can solo them out, so you can listen to just one instrument. Okay, and you can add a new track by pressing the plus sign here. I could add some drums in. Okay, I could add maybe, don't know, some strings. Okay, so you can see I'm building up a bit of a track now. Now, there's lots of different parts of this that you'll look at in detail later on, and hopefully when we're back in school we can switch to Logic, but it's good preparation I think for Logic, and it's quite user-friendly, this GarageBand app. So some of the main things that you'll need to make sure you really understand. So at the top here we've got, beside the question mark, we've got settings. This is going to be really important, so when you start to record things in, you can set the tempo or the speed of music. You can, if I play this now, you can hear 110 beats per minute. But I can make that faster, I can make that slower, okay. Particularly when I'm recording things in, I like to play them in slower myself, so you can set the speed that you want. We've got this, you probably hear that clicking, that helps us keep in time. It's what's called the metronome. It tells me that, no it doesn't. If you click that button so it's blue, that ticking will always happen. Okay, if you turn it off, it will switch off, but it's good to have it on, I think, because you can hear where you're going to be so it keeps you in time with the beat. Now you can also change the time signature, and you might be doing that for different projects. So 4/4 is the most common one, but you might use 3/4. That automatically changes the time, and so you can see there's now 3 beats in the bar, 1, 2, and 3. Or you could perhaps change it if you want to 6/8. Okay, so that's there for you to have a look at there, the settings. Now, it's really important. You might be using GarageBand just to create 4 8 bars, in which case, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's great, but actually, you might want to add some more bars. If you go to the plus sign at the top right-hand side here, it gives you song sections. You can add different sections, okay, but you could, if you wanted to just have one big section that you're working on, just change the amount of bars. I could go up to maybe 32, for instance. Okay, so you tap the arrows to change the length, and then it automatically gives you that 32 bars there that you've for your track. Some other things to take in notice. top here we've got some settings for each of the different tracks. Okay, go to this one here. It's frozen a little bit. There you go. So there's the settings for grand piano, and we'll talk about these a little bit later on, but adding reverb and different effects like echo as well, which you might want to do, particularly if you're doing film music in Year 8. But there's lots of different things that you can use. The other thing that is really, really useful is in track settings, there's something called quantization, which will talk to you a little bit about, which helps you keep, once you've recorded something in, it helps correct the timing of your notes. Okay, and there are some guides and videos to show how you're going to do that throughout some certain projects. Okay, so you'll learn a little bit about how you can, once you've recorded something in, you can make that recording really accurate in terms of timing. And there are other lots and lots of things we could talk about here. This is just an example. If I just click on this track here, you can see now that it comes up with lots of different options. I can duplicate this, I can delete this track, I can rename it. Okay, one of the things you can do is use automation, which basically is like changing the volume throughout a piece of music. So if I were to record a piece of music, I can pretend like I've got something there. I can start to change, okay, the volume throughout. Now, what you've got to make sure is that you've got this pencil swiped there, which then allows you to make those changes, as you can see. And you could just have a bit of fun with that once you created something. Again, something being a bit slow today. Okay, for instance, so and you can do it for anything. You can maybe bring that up or down. It could be a slow burn. Okay. Ooh. Slightly temperamental. Okay, so those are some things that you can have a little explore of, and you can obviously lock those changes now by pressing that, and those won't change. Okay, so that's just a bit of a guide into Logic. Now, the fundamental thing that I would talk about is a little bit of this arrow at the top, which is this arrow here, which is the undo arrow. So if you've made a mistake, all you do is you press this arrow here, okay, undo position. It tells you the last thing you did, okay, and you can just undo, and you can see that now all changing from what I've done. So if you've made a mistake, you can use that button there. Now, you must make sure that when you're recording, that your cursor or your I suppose your cursor, your head is at the top of the GarageBand file at bar 1, as you can see. I've taken it right back to 1.1. So when you're ready to record, you press the red button, okay, and it'll count you in 4 beats, or I think I'm in 4/4, so 4 beats. So we'll give me 4 in, and then we're recording. Okay, and there we go. There's an example of me recording it, and I can just quickly show you some of the things that you can do once you've recorded something in. You can double click on that, you can loop that, so you can loop it round if you wanted to. You might not want to do that just yet. Whoops, didn't need to get that on there. Let's take that away. It doesn't want to come back, does it? Or you could get rid of that. You could also edit the note. Okay, so if I just undo that, okay, I can edit the notes. I can see the notes that have been drawn in, and you can see where they fit on the grid, and if they're in time, and you can see actually they're not quite. So I can just change those notes. I can move them so that they're right on the grid. I can change the length of the notes and also make sure that they're in time. That's one way of doing it manually. Of course, as I showed you before, you can also use that quantization, which your teachers will talk to you about by using this quantization tool which corrects the timings. And I'm going to go for an eighth note. I'm going to listen back now to my recording and hear that. And it sounds really in time. I can take that next one off when I'm ready. So have fun and enjoy using GarageBand whilst we are remote working.